In this video, I'm going to show you how to take the data from Logger Pro and put it into a spreadsheet and do analysis so that you can find what the average acceleration is. First thing to notice is that we've got the X and the Y. We don't really care about the X, so I'm going to highlight this column and delete it. Now I look at the Y and I take a look at where this thing actually starts to fall, and I notice that it's row 10 that it actually begins to fall. I highlight from row 10 down for the time and the vertical position. I hit Command C in order to copy this, these two columns, and then I go to my spreadsheet. In my spreadsheet, I see that I have 4 columns there. First of all, I name it, and I've got time, position, velocity, and acceleration. I just highlight that first cell, and I hit Command V. Now I have the data in there. Now I want to start calculating the velocity. Now, average velocity is a difference in position, so I'm starting one down, I'm skipping a cell. And I hit equals, because equals tells the cell that I'm going to do a calculation. I want the change in velocity, so I'm going to hit a parenthesis and then click on the cells that I want to subtract. Right? It's position 2 minus position 1. You can type in the cell number or you can just click on it, and that'll give it the put in the right information into the cell, and then end parenthesis. So now that's the difference in position. And I want to divide that by the difference in time. So I hit divided by, which is backslash, parenthesis, and then T2 minus T1. End parenthesis. And the spreadsheet does the calculation for me. In that cell now is the value that it calculates. But if you ever want to see the formula, you look up here in the formula bar, and you can see what is being used to calculate the value there. Now we're going to have the spreadsheet do this calculation for all of these. This is the magic of a spreadsheet if you're not familiar with it. So I'd click on the little blue square and drag it down. You see the dotted line fill those columns, and then it does all the calculations for you. That would be a lot of calculations to have to do, but it does it for us, as we can see. And you can click on those boxes to see in the formula bar how it's doing the calculation for you. So that's how we calculate the average velocity. Now we want to calculate the average acceleration. We get that by doing the same thing. But looking at the velocity, you can see it starts at 25 centimeters per second, ends at 450 centimeters per second, which is probably about what we would expect. Right? Keep in mind this is centimeters. So now again, equals parenthesis V2 minus V1, end parenthesis, divided by T2 minus T1. Same thing. So it's the difference in the velocity over the difference in the acceleration. And I get something like about 1,000 centimeters per second squared. Again, I'm going to drag down the blue square to fill all these, and we get some kind of a range of values. We're going to want to find the acceleration then, or the average of these values. And the spreadsheet has a way of doing that. Type in equals and then you start to type in the word average, and you see it actually comes up for you. This is a function that tells the spreadsheet what to do. And then you highlight the cells you want to take the average of. Put an end parenthesis on it, and there you go. So the average acceleration is 920 meters per second squared. The negative just means the downward direction, of course. Keeping in mind this is centimeters, what we want ultimately is meters. So we can take this value and divide it by 100. And that'll give us the average acceleration in meters per second squared. Ultimately, the average acceleration should be something like 9.8 meters per second squared. And so this tells me that I didn't do a very good job of clicking on that little white